ThorChain, aka RUNE, is looking like it's ready to take off. Our end of March analysis was just on point, almost to the cent. And that's what we're going to focus on in today's video, doing an analysis from where we are now and what's likely to happen, but also looking back in March and how we can see the future with high probability. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I only used to focus on currencies, but now exclusive on cryptocurrency. So let's dive straight in. All right, this was a video we did on the 28th of March. Urgent, anticipate a major ThorChain correction. Is this the wrong time to buy RUNE? Got nothing against RUNE, strong project, we know that. But from a technical, psychological, buying and selling position, what we said we're likely to see a top because we've seen a nice 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it looks like the 5 is forming. We're going to be highly aware of these. We looked at Fibonacci ratios, we looked at the pattern position, and also momentum as well. And they said what we should anticipate is what's most common, not guaranteed, it's probabilities, never certainties, is sideways to down, and typical would be a 3-wave correction. And we call that an A, B, C. Right? We said this in advance. And these were some of the price levels that we also said in advance. Now, shall we see what happened? Well, let's jump into a live chart with RUNE. And let's look at this. All right, here we go. Bam, check this out. All right, I'm just going to map it to the same size as what we did with the video. But check that out. I mean, come on. That's how powerful Elliott wave and Fibonacci can be. Right, let me just put it side by side now. That's almost identical, exactly what happened. Look at that. It's just literally unfolded textbook. So now let's just get rid of these drawings. And this is what's happened with the price action with RUNE, right? It hit that wave 5. So look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've just removed those. I'll put them back on. Look at this. It was a 1, 2, like a 3, 4, and a wave 5. It's a 5-wave sequence. If I just make this into a micro wave count. And now we've got this ABC correction. I've just put these lines here. So I'm just going to remove these lines now. But it's really, really important that we just note the psychology of buying and selling. Like I did a live session for my community, my private community yesterday, and we're looking at many charts, any charts that they wanted to look at. We did a bonus session, and sometimes there's no technical analysis, there's no chart pattern, so we don't force a count. But when there is a clear wave count, it tells us with very high probability of what's likely to occur next, so we can project. So the last video that we did was up here, and really it was all about, look, if you haven't taken profits, take some profits. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's highly probable that we're going to get a correction. And the price went from around $12 to as low as $6. That's a 50% movement to the downside, right? That we projected in advance. So look at this, in advance. Again, the video was done on March 28th. You see the power of really having the ability just to do the basics. We only use basic Elliott wave, Fibonacci, and it takes practice, but it's really, really powerful. And if you want to learn how to do Elliott wave and Fibonacci, you can actually take my free Elliott wave and Fibonacci masterclass, which is in the link below. You get instant access, and I cover this with you in depth, and it will give you an edge on the market. Again, the patterns are not always clear, but when they are, we're going to leverage that information, and more often than not, we'll see this kind of stuff happen again and again and again. And by the way, if you end up buying one of my courses, you get an invite to my private Telegram. We do weekend workshops, we do some bonus sessions. It's really to give you the tools, teach a man to fish, feed him for a day, give him the tools to fish, feed him for a lifetime. So, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying. All right, now let's just look at RUNE, right? This is one of the coins that we covered yesterday in the live session. And, sometimes when the chart pattern's not there, it's not there. Here, this looks pretty clear, very, very, textbook style. So what I said yesterday in yesterday's session was what we want to be aware of. We're looking at, let me just do a quick recap with RUNE. This is what we said, bigger time frame. We had this amazing move to the upside, a big ABC style correction, and we're probably going to get a new trend to exceed this former high, but we are breaking down what is the psychological mood over here. That's what we're really looking at and focusing on. So I'm just going to zoom in and stay focused over here. All right, let me just do it like this. Okay, so we're going to keep it really, really simple. So we've identified the pattern position, but there's one other pattern position, because what you want to realize is there's waves within the waves. Yep, there's, you know, my head of sales and marketing calls it the macrocosm and the microcosm, and it applies to Elliott waves. There's psychology within the waves, and we want to really, really look into this. So we've got this very clear, and I want to do it step by step. There's A, this B, and this C, right? But this C doesn't look like it's complete yet. Why? And by the way, just so we're on the same page, this part here is the C. That's what we're looking at. And most corrections are an ABC, 3 waves, ABC. The second most common is an A, B, C, D, E. yeah. But you, again, if you're new to Elliott Wave, take the Fibonacci Elliott Wave Masterclass. It will kind of upskill you. It will upskill you. And, you know, it's just one step at a time. So now let's just look at this. What I want to do just very quickly is this. To me, it's not confirmed yet, but it looks like we are getting a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave, or looks like a potential wave 3, a potential wave 4, and we might get one more leg to the downside, because wave C's are typically 5 waves. And so we're looking for a 5 over C over 2. That's the counting terms. What will invalidate that is if we get the price trading into the range of wave 1, right? So the other day I went into a lower time frame, and it's likely, not guaranteed, that we're probably going to get one more leg to the downside. But if that happens, what's the viewpoint? What's the psychological mood? Well, this wave 2, this here, is just a retest of this. And if it holds, it will act as a launch pad, like literally like a rocket launch pad. And then price will bounce and just take off. Right? And that's a wave 3. That's what we're looking for. So when is the high probability end of a wave 2 on this particular part of the chart in this time frame? So we're going to do something called a retracement. Now we're moving on to Fibonacci price ratios. And the typical is, there's 3 ratios, but we can see it's going to be in these 2, which is 62 to 78.6%. And we're just going to do one other, which is we're going to just measure this wave A, project it from this wave B. And most wave C's are a mirror of wave A. Oh, that's the wrong one. I want to get, not that one. I want to get this one here. Boom. All right. So now we've got this range and that range over here. So it's probably not going to be this one. It's likely that we're going to see the launch pad, the rocket, bounce in this zone over here. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So if you're looking to get into RUNE, this might be a nice high probability zone to really pay attention to. Now, it's best practice, I just want to clean this up a little bit. It's best practice to wait for a signal to show that the trend has reversed. So if we do get this movement to the downside, I'm getting a bit detailed here, but it can be very, very helpful, is the price going above this swing high, if we do get a move to the downside, will be the first major signal that this low may hold. Right? So now what I want to do is just look at the bigger picture. I just want to zoom in like this, just bring this down to here, and go, if this does unfold like this, and it is an if, it's probabilities, never certainties, what's the likely outcome? Well, the likely outcome is that we're going to see a wave 3. What do I mean by a wave 3? I mean, this is a initial wave 1, initial wave 2, and then a wave 3. Right, and that's what I mean by this. Let me just clean this up, because I like to sometimes just have 2 degrees of counts. This is saying this looks like a wave 1 of a wave 3. And we're looking like we're potentially forming a wave 2. That's question mark of a wave 3. So we should be on a wave 3 of a wave 3. If we're on a wave 3 of a wave 3, that's more often than not the most impulsive, most aggressive, most optimistic wave out of all waves, a wave 3 of a wave 3. Now, saying this, We need to take Bitcoin's position into account. I personally think Bitcoin's going to see some bullish behavior over the next 2 weeks, but I think it's going to be corrective, meaning I don't think it's going to take off, but I think for 2 weeks, we're probably going to see the price go back over 40,000, possibly back over 44, 45,000. And a lot of coins that are in this kind of position will probably take off in that time frame, right? That's highly probable. Guaranteed, no. So you need to have proper capital exposure. So now let's just finish off with wave 3 of wave 3 price targets. My favorite is the Fibonacci price extension. I'm just going to project it from here. It's not been confirmed, but it gives us a ballpark of what we should anticipate. 1.618 is the most common. 2.618 is the overextended, and it's quite common for wave 3 of wave 3 to be overextended. I'm just going to bring it into the screen. There we go. Bang. So with RUNE, if this does unfold like this, the first price target where you should be looking to take some profits is $19, almost $20 in that region. And then the next, the overextension, don't be overly surprised if it hits this, is $28, so closer to the $30 mark, right? And we want to be aware of that. And then in the grander scheme of things, yeah, it's probably going to be more likely here. And you can see from past behavior, it can get very aggressive very fast. Like that's, very impulsive, very impulsive. What we want to be aware of, or what you want to be aware of if you're in RUNE, is if it does unfold like this, it would often be in a 5-wave style sequence. And if the pattern is relatively clear, we want to be highly aware of the 1, 2, 3, 4 wave 5 region if it does unfold like this. Almost exactly as we saw in this microwave here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we see this here, if it unfolds like this, we want to be really paying attention to wave 3 over here, but especially wave 5, because this is strong profit taking area before a wave 4 tends to occur. So there you have it. RUNE is following pretty much textbook Elliott wave Fibonacci. We projected this part in advance. You can see over here, this ABC, and you can see it unfolded pretty much bang on. And we like it when we see this. It's because, it's just clean, very clean psychology, which means we've got no other reason to believe other than to believe that we should see this. Let me also just show you one other thing before we wrap up. Top left-hand corner, we can see the weekly momentum in the top left-hand corner. This supports the case. What I mean is this momentum indicator measures the rhythm of the market, is lagging, meaning it's taking past data, but it tends to marry up quite nicely with the highs and the lows. And when the red and the blue line is in below this black line, it just says it's oversold, meaning that the downside should be limited. We should anticipate a reversal, and we should anticipate sideways to up overall for the coming few weeks. Again, we're going to be mindful of the position that Bitcoin's in. But if you want to learn Elliott wave and Fibonacci, take my Elliott wave and Fibonacci free masterclass. I cover it with you. We've got some great examples in there of wave 2s, wave 3s, wave 5s, end of wave 5, because wave 2s, like what we saw today, is about high probability entries. And then end of wave 5s is high probability exit points. So you can see with high probability when the price is coming towards an end of a trend, or if it's the end of a correction and the beginning of a new trend. So then it gives you a massive edge on the market, so you can increase the probability of you winning this beautiful game called crypto, blockchain, trading, whatever your strategy is. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's finish on a quote. Let's go with chapter 1 actually. Go with chapter 1. Go with MJ. Let's find MJ. Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Success and failure go hand in hand. To make the biggest learnings in life, you have to go through failure, but sometimes people take it too personally, and then they don't expose themselves for success because they're too afraid of failure. I saw this acronym, FAIL. Failure is simply first attempt in First attempt, failure is first attempt in something. Because it's like first attempt in learning. That was it. FAIL. First attempt in learning, right? But we learn fast as human beings, and we want purposeful practice, and we need the feedback. So failure is actually the secret to success. There's another great quote from the book, Black Box Thinking. Great book, great business book. But it said, beneath every success is a mountain of necessary failure. And that ties in perfectly with Michael Jordan. The reason he succeeds is because he's failed so much. And the reason I bring that up is it's all about learning, going through the motions, but it's on-the-job learning. You know, when you're doing it, that's one of the best times when it's practical. But it's not just about doing it, it's about sharpening your axe. So you're getting better and better with every day, with every week, every month, every year, and every decade. Right? And look at the long term, not just the short term. All right, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you very soon.